So we're now going to go through the other method of answering this question. So this is the method that doesn't require us to graph it. But before we launch into it, I just want to come off to the side here for a moment. You don't have to write this down. I actually don't write it down. I just want to show you a common way that people mess this up. So I'm just going to rewrite the question here. So there it is. A common way that people mess this up is they just go, well, I'm just going to go x. I'll use the same inequality is less than log. I've got a base of 0.4 and that's 5. And they think that they've got it right. They've just kind of used the same inequality as in the question. Now you can see here that we're wrong because this is saying x is less than log of base 0.45 when it should be x is greater than log of 0.45. So they got this part right, but they didn't flip the inequality as they should. So you can't always rely on this method because there are sometimes when the inequality sign will flip, as in this case, and you're going to get it wrong. So don't rely on this. You need to know a better method of getting your answer correct every time. And that is method 2, which will show you when you need to flip that inequality. So how are we going to do this? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to take the log of both sides. So take log of both sides. It doesn't matter what the base of the log is. Let's just make it base 10. So that means I'm going to go log of a base 10, and then I'll put in my left-hand side. Then it is less than log of base 10 of my right-hand side. Then I can take this x and bring it out the front. Log of base 10, 0.4 is less than log of base 10 of 5. And then once we've done that, I can then divide both sides by this. And remember, the reason why I'm dividing is because I want to get x by itself. So now I'm doing this. But this is where you need to be careful. This is where you need to be careful. Whenever you're dividing across an inequality, alarm bells should be going off in your head because you need to be asking yourself, is this thing right here positive or negative? So is the whole thing right here positive or negative? The way that you can determine that is by looking at this value here, so the argument. Now, if we scroll down here, I've put in a little note, and that is when you have log of base b of a, this is positive, so this whole thing is positive when the a is greater than 1. So this a value is greater than 1, then the whole thing is positive. But it's negative when the a value here is between 0 and 1. And that's exactly the situation we're in here. Do you see how 0.4 is less than 1? So that means we're in a situation where this thing here is negative. We can kind of think about this more clearly with a simpler example. What if I gave you log of base 2 of a half, right? What's that going to be equal to? It's going to be equal to -1. So do you see how this is negative? Because this is like 2 raised to the -1 is 1 on 2. And that's what's that. So that means, this is the really, really super duper important part here, is that you're dividing across by a negative. Well, that tells you you need to flip this thing. You need to flip it. So I flipped the inequality. And now I've got log of base 10 of 5 over log of base 10 of 0.4. And that right there is our answer, people. That is it. That is our answer. So the important part here is knowing when to flip that inequality. And if you do it this way, you'll get it right every single time. Okay, so let's come here and let's just appreciate everything that we've done and also come to our CAS now and ensure we can do this on our CAS. Okay, so this is the same as this. As you can see, my inequalities are both facing the same way, which is great. All right, menu. 3-1 to solve it. If I want 0.4 raised to the x is less than 5, comma x, what am I going to get out? I'm going to get x is greater than -1.75. Okay, as you can see, my inequality is facing the right way. Just to double check that I've got this correct value here, what we're going to do is we're going to go control and put in this. So 0.45, and sure enough, -1.75. And then to double check it even further, this also should give me the same answer out. So control log and then 10. We know this is going to work because we've thoroughly gone through the change of base law, which tells me all of this. This is going to be control log 10, 0.4, hit enter, and there it is, negative that. So we have done it correctly. We got out the correct values. We did it on our CAS. We went through 2 different ways of figuring this out. Hopefully you found this helpful, and just be really, really careful about swapping that inequality when necessary.